being an estate agency and letting agency owner in 2021 is particularly hard work. You feel you're on your own. It's You've got your staff, you've got your clients, you're being pulled from pillar to post. It's a lonely old game. I'm joined today by Abigail Gray, who runs her own very well-established estate agency in Wembley called Gray & Co. And I know for a fact that she was kind of losing the love slightly until quite recently. And now she's feeling absolutely top of the world, down to being guided and supported by one of the most biggest legends of the estate agency industry. Because Abigail Gray reached out to the Agents Together Charitable Foundation, which is the charity set up by estate and letting agents for estate agents, not to help them financially, but to make them better estate agents, happier estate agents, or more fulfilled estate agents. So what I'd like to do is let's not hear from me. Let's introduce Abigail. So Abigail, thank you very much for joining me today.
No problem. Thank you for having me on, Chris.
That's okay. So when did you become an estate agent, and what do you love about estate agency and letting agency?
I kind of fell into it because we had a family business, and I was come to sort of the end of uni, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So I decided to sort of join my dad for a little while. He said, "Oh, come and work for me. See if you like it." And I did. I just sort of walked into it, and as we know, a bit of a gripe in the industry is that you can literally just walk off the street and become an estate agent. But I came in, I was given a phone, I was given my box of applicants to ring, and just told to get on with it. And I've always been quite gregarious. I've worked in retail, I've worked in pubs and stuff, so I'm very used to speaking to strangers and building a rapport with people. And I think it was just the fact that with estate agency, it really is all about helping people. So you're trying to help people find somewhere to live, and it's a case of talking to them, finding out what motivates them, what they love, what they need in their life, and trying to match them with a property. So I think it seemed like a nice career to be in. Obviously, that was sort of the sales side and the negotiator side. When you get into property management, it doesn't always seem quite so nice, but that was my initial introduction. I thought, oh, this is nice, helping people find homes, showing them around houses.
It's a great job. You get to look in airing cupboards. Now,
exactly.
You were in the business for a while, but unfortunately, due to illness, you lost your father a number of years ago, which meant that the responsibility fell onto your shoulders. I know you're involved very much in the industry, but it is kind of a lonely old game running your own estate agency, isn't it?
It is difficult when it's just you. Obviously, I've got my family to bounce things off, but ultimately the buck stops with me. And it's very difficult when you've not run a business before, being thrown into that capacity and trying to keep the business running operationally, but then also looking, because no one teaches you this, looking at strategy, marketing, and all the things that you need to drive the business forward. You don't go to, well, you do go to school if you go and do an MBA to learn stuff like this, but I hadn't done that at school. So my first priority was, let's keep everything running operationally and make sure we don't lose anything. And we didn't, and we were able to keep treading water. But once I'd got accustomed to how I was going to do that and start looking at how I can get rid of those particular tasks to somebody else, I needed to learn from somebody with more experience than me about strategy, about vision, about values, about culture. Because although some of these things we built organically, not really realizing what they were, some of them needed refining and developing further and building upon.
So when did Agents Together come across your radar?
Quite near when they started. What was that? Basically the early stage of the pandemic. Obviously we're at home working, and although we still kept everything going, there was a little bit more time to look at what was going on social media, look at the news, like the estate agency news. And obviously I'm involved on Facebook in quite a lot of estate agency forums. So I saw all this come together, and I started looking at what estate agents together were doing, and like the coffee mornings that Sarah was holding on their Facebook group. And then I saw, I think it was probably one of your videos, where I saw people talking about their mentors, and another agent I know mentioned that he was being mentored through Agents Together, and I thought, oh, that's a good idea. I hadn't thought about doing that. And obviously it's free. So there's an added bonus there because it is expensive having a mentor. I'm not saying it's bad value. It's not. It's normally good value, but these things are quite costly. So where you've got an opportunity to access it, not just for me, but potentially for other people in my team as well, for a period of time for free, it was an amazing opportunity.
Okay, so surely you were sceptical at the start that there would be a cost or there would be a catch.
Is that why I'm talking to you now? Isn't that the catch?
What do you lie?
That's not really a catch anyway, is it? No, I didn't. I didn't think. I thought Sarah was quite genuine, and the people that were in the industry working within Agents Together, most of them anyway, that I already knew on a personal basis, were people like yourself, like Stephen Brown, with a lot of integrity, and I knew they wouldn't be involved in something that had a catch, because you're not like that.
No, good stuff. So Agents Together put you in together with Brian Mansell, because we've got over 200 mentors. I mean, if you don't mind me saying, I mean, that man is a man mountain and just full of ideas, and he's awesome bloke. You must have felt like you fell on your feet when you got.
I really did, because I'd seen Brian talk a few times, because we were also just starting our journey with his Gazelle operation. So I was definitely. It was pure coincidence, yeah. And actually, the person that matched us didn't know about that. It was more the fact that the things that I was asking for help with were just areas that Brian had a lot of expertise in. So yeah, I was very lucky meeting Brian, and we hit it off straight away.
What's Brian done for you?
Brian helped me. The first thing he made me do was look at all my suppliers and check like contracts and stuff, and he helped me systemize all of that and put it into a neat way to look at it, and obviously look at the dates so that I know when I'm supposed to be like giving my notice on certain contracts and stuff. And then we looked at values, we looked at branding, we looked at the brands that I thought resonated with me and the kind of brands that I wanted to use as a sort of a launch pad for us to try and emulate those sorts of values. And that was a really interesting exercise, which I've done before. But when I did it with Brian this time, there are a couple of others that he suggested I look at that I hadn't looked at before. So like Volvo, for example. Okay,
but how's he helped you inside here?
I'll tell you what he did, because the biggest problem I've got is I know what I need to do. I know how I need to do it. I just don't know in which order. So I told Brian, like, we had a session and I just, downloaded everything onto to him. And he was like, right, okay, let's start with this. Then once I'd done that, we went to the next thing and to the next thing. We're still working through things. So he just helped me work out what was most important.
Anything else that's helped you feel more accomplished and happier as an estate agency boss? Because you're a very detailed sort of person. You like your ducks in a row, don't you?
I do. I think Brian just helped me bring clarity to everything, because I'm very disorganized in my mind in terms of doing things in an order. I get very easily distracted. So Brian helped me break everything down into sort of small manageable tasks and do them one by one, rather than looking at everything going, oh my gosh, how am I going to do all of that in one go?
And has that made you a happier and a better estate agent?
Yes, I think maybe not necessarily a better estate agent, because I don't do that much of the estate agency work, but I think it's made me a better leader.
Lovely.
And it's put me in a position where I'm able to better assist my staff in their own development.
What would your final message be in one sentence to any estate agency boss watching this?
Get your team and yourself, if you don't already have a mentor, onto their website and put your details in and see who you're going to get out.
Thank you, Abigail. You're an absolute star. There's a link above or below if you want to apply for mentoring. It's free of charge, no cost, no catch. You'd be foolish not to take the help and guidance of these people that want to give back to the industry. Abigail, you've been a star. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me.